Hey Siri, what fantasy sports podcast should I listen to?
Beast the Odds. Fantasy sports and sports investing with your host, 12-time DFS champion qualifier and counting, 5-time MVP season MLB Fantasy Pros HR champion, back-to-back years.
Mastradamus.
Beast Dome Nation, happy Wednesday, March 31st, 2021, the last day of March. If you were with us last night, you hit the parlay, which was the Denver Nuggets money line and the Charlotte Hornets money line. Let's carry that momentum on to another day. We have a full NBA slate. We're going to write down the props. We're going to write down the DFS stars. But what we're really going to focus on today is winning those Vegas picks, because in such a large slate, there's a lot of opportunities there. Yes, it's nice with your daily fantasy team that, your team is going to be your team. No one's going to have an identical team. But at the same time, there's zero room for error in these type of nights. So for me personally, I'm going to focus most of my investments in the Vegas portion of this slate. So here we go. Portland at Detroit. Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Norman Powell, Covington, Nurk, Cantor, Carmelo. This Portland Trailblazers team is actually shaping up to be a sleeper in the West. A deep sleeper in the West. So I actually like Portland just to come alive in such an easy matchup. I mean, Jeremy Grant against Covington. Covington's going to knock out Jeremy Grant. Plumlee is going to get knocked out by Nurk. Cantor's going to dominate as well. And then the three shooters in Portland, Lillard, McCollum, and Powell, like game over compared to Lee, Diallo, and Bay. Those guys can't buy a jump shot. The Blazers bench is so much better. Portland is going to win this game. Next up, we got the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. This Miami Heat team playing strong playoff caliber basketball. I don't know. I don't like them to repeat in the East. No, not this year. It was a good year they had last year, but this team just doesn't seem to be it. But Victor Oladipo could be a huge addition. We'll see how Oladipo fits in. He's not playing tonight. Miami's going with none. They're going with Duncan. They got Hero, Dragic, who should be playing in this one. I mean, they have guards that can score buckets. Butler, he could have a good game, but let's not forget Justin Holiday will be guarding him. On the same token, the big matchup is Trevor Ariza and Sabonis. Is Sabonis going to be able to play his game? In fact, it might even be better for him, because Ariza, yes, he can handle a post player, but Sabonis is a lot stronger than Ariza. And then Bam and Miles Turner, that's going to be a battle. The guards for Indiana can take over as well. Brogdon, LeVert, McConnell. This is one of those games that is just too even to call. There's no reason to force it in such a big slate. It's going to be a great game, but we're not going to touch it. Houston at Brooklyn. James Harden going up against his old team. He'll have Kyrie Irving helping him out. Still no Kevin Durant. Blake Griffin, who's looking great with Brooklyn. They got DeAndre Jordan, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, Shamet, Tyler J, Claxton. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets have a very full squad. They're playing great. They should continue to play great. They actually almost let Minnesota do their thing. But Brooklyn will be able to do what they want against Houston's D. John Wall, we'll see. Christian Wood, let's just assume Christian Wood plays. Is John Wall going to be able to do what he wants? Well, John Wall is definitely going to be ball hogging it and doing his thing. Kevin Porter Jr., he really needs to show up as well. We'll see if he can. This is a good matchup for him to do it, but he really hasn't been consistent. Daniel House Jr., Sterling Brown, DJ Augustine, Kelly Olynyk. They got some offense, but Brooklyn's just going to be able to score however they want. Brooklyn's going to win this game. If Christian Wood's not 100%, which it doesn't seem the case, there's not even a chance, but DeAndre Jordan can knock out Christian Wood. Brooklyn's going to win that game. Let's jump to the next one. Dallas at Boston. This is an interesting type of matchup. Luka will be guarded by Marcus Smart. That's not good for Luka. J. Rich will have to do a lot offensively with Tim Hardaway, and if that's the case, and Jaylen Brown and Kemba. These guys can... Jaylen Brown will make it tough for whoever he's going up against. And since Richardson and Hardaway, kind of split their minutes together, Jaylen will be able to stop them both. Jason Tatum also should see some good minutes in this one because Dallas likes to run bigger than most teams. Unless Dallas wants to stretch the floor, which they should, since Boston really doesn't run anything through their center. You gotta imagine Porzingis and Robert Williams. Robert Williams is going to knock Porzingis off his mojo. Robert Williams is a defender. That's what he does. He's athletic enough to keep up with Porzingis. Jason Tatum against Dorian Finney-Smith, that's a big one. But Boston just has so much offense with Jaylen Brown, Fournier, who had a rough debut, but Kemba can always go off. Dallas does have a better bench. Jalen Brunson, Trey Burke, Dwight Powell, way better than Pritchard, Naismith, and Grant Williams. Not even close. Dallas has the better bench. Boston has the better starters. Boston has the better matchups with their starters. But since Dallas's bench can keep Dallas in this game, there's no reason to touch this game at all. Toronto at OKC. Looks like Kyle Lowry's going to sit this one out, so Toronto will be going with Fred VanVleet at the point. Gary Trent Jr., OG, Siakam, Baines. It's still a good starting five, more or less. Boucher off the bench, he's been struggling. This seems like a game where OKC can stick in it. They got a ragtag of guys, and unfortunately they're missing Dort. They're missing Poku. And of course, they're missing Shai Gilgeous. So this OKC Thunder team is really not that strong of a team. I'd like to call him the Mandalorian. They got Shvi, who they're going to need to do his thing. Shvi is going to have to shoot very well. Kenrich Williams, he's going to have to be a ball hog as well in order for OKC to win. Roby will have to do a lot on offense. Moses Brown, they're going to need him to step up, that's for sure. He can be the big man of this game, no doubt. Ty Jerome, he's going to play a lot of minutes as a sixth man. They're going to need him to be very special tonight in order to hold on, because that's where OKC is beatable. I'm sorry, Toronto is beatable, is that their bench scoring is not high and no Lowry tonight. In the end, I like Toronto's offense a lot more than OKC's offense. They just have better weapons. So in that sense, Toronto should win. But are we going to touch it? I'm going to say no. Just because OKC dominates in size in this one. They really do. And OKC's at home. If they can keep this game close, if they can play good defense, they can pull off a major upset here. I'm not going to say we touch it. New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a game right here where you got Derrick Rose going up against his old team. The Knicks are now 100% healthy. This is the Knicks at their most dangerous level. Peyton, Burks, Rose, Quickly, RJ Barrett, Bullock. They just have so many guards and wings that can score. If they had Mitchell Robinson healthy, they would be dangerous. But instead it's Randall and Noel, still a great, 4-5. And then Taj Gibson and Obi off the bench is not really... Taj Gibson's just such a weakling. And if Cat can get Noel in foul trouble, which is definitely possible, then it's really just going to open up this game into being a who knows what type of happen situation. But Cat is definitely going to have to dominate. Anthony Edwards will likely be guarded by, let's put it this way, RJ Barrett, Bullock, Burks are going to have to be guarding Beasley and Edwards, and no one's really going to play that lockdown at D, so both guys all of those guys could really just go off in the scoring department, and Ricky Rubio is going to set the table. Elfrid Payton's going to be setting the table. It's the committee there for the Knicks, but for the Timberwolves, their offenses should be clicking. The Knicks offense should be clicking. I'd like the over in that game. 218 is not a lot of points. In the end, it comes down to, can Cat get Noel in foul trouble? If he does, that's going to just open up this game and open up the scoring to a potential Minnesota win. If Noel plays good defense, then Minnesota will not win, but they will still be able to get plenty of buckets in this one. This game should easily be in the high hundreds. Lots of shooters. Knicks bench, though, they can really light it up. But so can Minnesota. Over it is. Let's keep it rolling. Memphis, Utah. This has been a series that Utah, it feels like they played the last 3 games against each other. Here's their 4th. This is definitely a type of game where Utah can just continue to roll it in. They have the number for Memphis, but tonight Donovan Mitchell isn't playing, which makes it a whole new ball game. Ja Morant, Mike Conley. Seems like Conley has been getting the best of Ja in this entire series. Rudy Gobert and Jonas. Jonas has been putting up fine numbers, but Gobert makes it tough for him to dominate. And then it comes down to the role players. And you know what? With no Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson is going to have to step up and really be that leader, especially off the bench now that Ingles is going to the starting 5. Memphis actually has the bench to compete in this game. They have the starters to compete in this game. It's going to be a competitive game without Donovan Mitchell there. Yeah, that's the only way you can put it. It's going to be a competitive game with Donovan Mitchell not there. Memphis does have a chance to win this one. They do. Would I put it in the main parlay? No. It's going to take a team effort, but it's going to take Jordan Clarkson to stay in this game. Next up, Sacramento San Antonio. Sacramento just handed it to San Antonio. They're playing again. Back-to-backs. I like these back-to-backs. It just seems like Fox, Halliburton, Hield, Barnes, Holmes, it's just all too much for San Antonio. Now, it's not easy to sweep them. And the first time these two teams played in Beast the Odds, I said that I would go Sacramento, but it's not a lock, and they won. I would say the same thing. You can go Sacramento, but it's not a lock because now San Antonio, one, they know what they're expecting. Popovich is good at game planning in this situation. I know the score wasn't close, but San Antonio has the players that can play great, and when they play great, they can win, so I wouldn't touch it. Bucks at Lakers. This is the time for Giannis to just completely dominate against a LeBron, Anthony Davis-less team. It's also Andre Drummond's opportunity to really get acclimated in this offense and become a star, so when LeBron and AD return, Drummond's just going to be playing at top of his game. Schroeder's going to have to do a lot, but Drew Holiday's going to be guarding him, which will take him out of the game. On the same token, Drew's going to be able to do what he wants. DiVincenzo can shoot way better than KCP. Middleton will be the veteran against a rookie Kuzma type of performance. Giannis will dominate Markieff Morris, just like how Marcus Morris dominated him. But in a way, it almost has him prepared for this matchup. Giannis is going to dominate. Brook Lopez will keep Drummond out of the paint. Giannis is just going to dominate. That's just what it comes down to. He will definitely want to do that with LeBron and AD just sitting there on the sidelines. Milwaukee's going to win that game. You can throw that in the main parlay. And then last but not least, the Chicago Bulls, Phoenix Suns. Chicago Bulls, Phoenix Suns. This Bulls team is pretty deep now with all that talent that they acquired in Vukovic. They got Dice, they got Troy Brown Jr. It's a brand new squad. We'll see if Kobe White plays, but this Bulls team is very deep. Phoenix, on the other hand, they're playing amazing basketball right now. Everyone knows their role. Vuk and Ayton's a big matchup. Vuk could have his way and have a really strong game for sure. Ayton, I'd like Vuk to win that matchup. And then Thaddeus Young, Jay Crowder, they're going to knock each other out. Bridges will guard Levine. Patrick Williams will guard Booker. Booker probably has the advantage of scoring more points, and then CP3 should dominate at the guard spot against Satoransky. But then the Bulls bench can keep them in this game and could win the game. So that's why I would say don't touch it. Bulls could win this game. So let's focus on the main parlay of the day. This is the play that I would play. That's just going to be safe. You don't have to worry about it losing. It's really just great matchups. Portland to dominate Detroit if everyone's healthy. Portland just has way more offensive weapons, and then Covington's going to knock out Grant, and then the big men are going to knock out Plumlee. And then Portland's just got superstars at the guard versus nobodies. Portland's going to win. Next up, we got Brooklyn to beat Houston. James Harden's just not going to lose to his old team. Kyrie Irving, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. And then Brooklyn just has so many shooters and so many guys that can score that are just so much more proven than Houston's guys. DeAndre Jordan will take Christian Wood out of the game, even if Christian Wood does or does not play. But Blake Griffin against his second unit, Blake's going to be able to do what he wants. He's playing great basketball. Shamet, Tyler J, Jeff Green, all those guys can hit open shots. Lulu, can't forget him. Claxton, basically a baby DeAndre Jordan. Just Brooklyn's just a better team in the parlay. I will say this, you know what? It's moneyline minus 1,002. Don't even take it. Don't even take it. Minus 1,002. Who even needs that? So you can go Portland moneyline and you can go Milwaukee moneyline. It'll pay close to 1-1, maybe a little less, but you know what? It's safe money. Neither of those teams are going to lose. Just make sure that all the players are playing. I'm Muntradamus. Thank you for joining on Beast the Odds. You can catch us on Spotify. The episode will be up on beastdome.com as well. Have a blessed Fantasy Basketball Wednesday, the last Fantasy Basketball Wednesday of our lifetimes for 2021. Beast!